Good day, citizens of the world. Welcome to the Heart of Go Natural as you embark on your journey to divine health. You know, I've told many a times on these YouTubes that I didn't get sick, I was made sick. So today I want to give you a brief summary of what really happened with me 23 years ago with my diagnosis. Today I'm 53 years old. So at the age of 30, 23 years ago, I was diagnosed with this incurable disease, multiple sclerosis. 2 years prior to that, I was misdiagnosed with a CT scan, and I had optic neuritis. I would see two things, you know. 2 years later, my legs started to drag, and then my hand lost all fine motor movement, and at stages I couldn't open a door's lock, you know. And then I thought it was my back for some reason, because I had back pain. And then when I started to talk funny, then I knew, listen here, I was slurring my speak and I was talking like a drunkard, and I knew, oh, that was only momentarily, and I knew something was seriously wrong. I went to my doctor, specialist, neurologist, physicians, and then I was positively diagnosed with a lumbar puncture and an MRI scan, and that indeed I had multiple sclerosis. There's a lot of white spots in my brain. I didn't even know what was MS. They've told me it's an autoimmune disease, and also it's incurable, and it's a dreaded disease, and it was, but I thought it was like a flu and I will get rid of it. I will eventually sweat it out. But I didn't know the journey that I would embark onto. I went through a couple of rabbit holes, really. It was a long, grueling journey. But let's start. I can just tell you, there's a target on everybody's chest. If you are a human, you've got a target on your chest to be diseased. They want to make you sick, actually. So there's a system behind the system that people don't understand. I discovered that when I went to this Dr. Huggins, that authored this book, Solving the Multiple Sclerosis Mystery, Help, Hope and Recovery. And he published this book, and Dragon Slayer Publications is the book. And this book exposed that system behind the system. Who is that dragon? I'm telling you, it's such a slow erosion that we can't pick it up. So it happens so slowly and progressively, and then there's a sudden collapse. At the age of 30, I had this sudden collapse where all of a sudden all these bad things were happening with me neurologically, that my brain would malfunction basically. It happens like this. We are forced we live in a society, sea of deception, and for the last 150 years, most people that was born and raised, we were accustomed eating processed and refined foods, eating bread that's not bread, that's white substrate that is not food that cursing the body, that's malnourishment. So in that one video I've shown that the first symptom of being malnourished is tooth decay, and then eating all these substrates and foods that's not food, and they also toxic. Even the nutrient deficient and toxic food can make you sick. But now there's an added dimension of toxicology. At the age of 10, I had my first filling because of the bad foods. And then they didn't select the best filling, they select the worst material, which is 50% mercury. That silver filling, they camouflage it with this book, The Big Dental Lie of Dr. Ilona Fisser, and there's a lot of proof that there's a lot of mercury in it, 50% mercury, and it's coming off. It's been well researched that it's a fact that mercury is getting released from that fillings. So I was getting my first filling at the age of 10. By the age of 20, because I didn't rectify my nutrient deficient diet and lifestyle, then my teeth were deteriorating, and virtually every year I received a mercury amalgam filling. By the age of 20, I had 10 fillings, and every filling is releasing between 3 and 17 microgram of mercury per filling per day. So on average, I was smoking basically 10 mercury cigars, ingesting 10 microgram of mercury per filling, so 100 micrograms of mercury per day. This mercury goes in your lungs, and it goes in your arteries, up and down, and in your brain, in and out, and basically your brain is almost like a mercury filter basically. And some of that mercury end up in your brain, in other words, and then it binds and it stick onto brain tissue. It connect with it, and it alters the DNA structure. The brain cell looks different, and then your own immune system is killing this brain cell that looks foreign now. But mercury on its own can also kill brain cells, just on its own. So basically that's why it's an autoimmune disease, but mercury kills brain cells as well. And that's what basically happened with me. So by the age of 30, when I presented my first symptoms, my toxic bucket were overflowing and it was just too much. My body couldn't stand it anymore. So yeah, I would want to say that mercury is but one symptom of an injured brain. There's many other brain injuries like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, motor neuron disease, even bipolar, and there's many other more conditions. That's, as mad as a hatter, there's a saying, the people that make these hats, the felt hats with the mercury, these hatters, they all become crazy basically, because mercury have the capacity to make you nuts basically, and depressed, and there's so many negative things. Dr. Huggins also written a book, It's All in Your Head, the link between mercury amalgams and illness. So there's another book that shows that mercury is toxic. The one from Dr. Leona Visser, The Big Dental Lie. This book, Solving the MS Mystery. And then there's a big poster that Dr. Huggins has made where he referred to approximately 50 books and research studies that prove that mercury is so dangerous, and the mercury gets released, it accumulated in your brain stem, in your brain tissue. My friend, there's so many proof that mercury is so dangerous. So why are we still using it? And why did we ever use it? And why didn't we acknowledge that we made a mistake? And why did we continue using mercury? And why are we still continue using mercury in a lot of medical interventions like thimerosal as a vaccine preservative, and mercurochrome and merthiolate, and there's many more places where they use mercury. It stunned me why we're still going on with that. What's even more interesting for me is that there was a people group in Minamata in Japan. So the people of Minamata were a fishing community and they ate fish from the estuary. But basically there was a factory high up in the river, and they dumped the catalyst, which was mercury, and the mercury dissolved in the seawater, in the estuary water, and become part of the food chain of the small plant matter, the algae, and all the small water animals, and ultimately the fish. And you know what? The whole community had MS-like symptoms. They walked funny, they talked funny, and they were blind, some of them. It was so bad to see it. And after 20 years, they discovered it was not. After they cordoned these people and isolated them, they discovered it was not a disease. It was actually mercury poisoning. So why didn't we learn from the people of Minamata? So I will link a small video that you can have a look at what is Minamata disease, and it's a scandal that we don't acknowledge what happened to the poor people of Minamata. So I just rekindle these type of information so that we can learn from history.
Minamata disease is a neurological condition. Mercury poisons the central nervous system, damages the sense of balance and motor skills, which leads to increasingly intense body convulsions and ultimately death.
Then there's another video, which is the smoking tooth, is where they take a mercury filling and with the eraser they rub it and they cause friction, and you can see how the mercury vapor is getting released off that mercury amalgam filling.
They drilled on your tooth. Here is the mercury vapor every time you raise the temperature to 110 degrees with hot coffee or warm water, or even chewed on it. Mercury comes off fillings every time you stimulate them.
And then there's another video that show they take neurological tissue, neurons that was growing in a petri dish in a circle, in good biological circumstances, and it was growing neurons. And when they add certain heavy metals, and especially when they add the mercury, there was no one so detrimental than mercury. And you can see that the brain cell stopped and the brain cell was busy dying, basically. So that is what happened in my brain, that I got a lot of mercury from the mercury amalgam fillings and all sorts of other neurological toxins in my diet and lifestyle and fluoride toothpaste that end up in your brain, and it causing the brain to be injured. And then that's why the brain is malfunctioning. But there's hope. and there's good news. You know what? In this book of mine, I've written this book, Go Natural, and Wisdom for Healthy Living. In this book, I've documented all my discoveries. You don't need to get diseased. And if you are diseased and your brain is injured, there's at the back of this book, Go Natural, there at the recipes, there's a recipe, Johan's Recovery Protocol. This is the protocol that Dr. Allagans and naturopaths and toxicologists help me to detox my brain. So it basically, there's 3 phases to recover. I'm going to quickly summarize it. So the number one thing to do is to stop drinking and eating the toxic food chain and Newton's sterile food chain. So because you don't want further deteriorating and soft teeth and weaker organs. So we need to realize we are what we eat. Your food is your future. And the food helps to protect you. There's antioxidants. We need the substance in good food to help our inner doctor to self-heal. Okay, that's number one. So start eating the proper and correct Go Natural diet and lifestyle. And I've been on many diet and lifestyle, and now we're on a hunter-gatherer type of diet and lifestyle, which is the predominant lifestyle that we've survived on this planet. Number 2 is, you know, to clean the mouth. For me, the mouth can be the most dangerous place in your system, because if you got mercury, you're ingesting the mercury. If you got the other bad thing that is actually more dangerous than the mercury in the mercury amalgam filling is a root canal. A root canal, according to Dr. Huggins, is far more dangerous than the amalgam fillings. So those root canal teeth are dead bones, and they are incubator, and the anaerobic bacteria is excreting toxins far more dangerous than mercury actually. One root canal will make you seriously sick, and I've seen many customers that I help to recover by just removing one root canal, and they recover. It's just incredible. So biologically, our biological dentistry saved my life. So I owe my life to them, and I thank the Lord that He guided me to the top biological dentist at that stage, which is Dr. Hal Huggins, which have authored that book, Solving the MS Mystery. Okay, and once your mouth is clean, and once your gut is healed, and you're on a proper diet and food chain, the next stage is to chelate. It's actually to detox, but it's an accelerated detoxing system. And remember, you need to understand mercury. Mercury is a fat soluble, so it binds. If this is a brain cell, and here comes a mercury, and it's like a barb of a fish hook, and it hooks onto it, and it's hard to get out of your system. That's why heavy metals are so bad, especially mercury, because it's binded now to your nerve tissue. But if you do the correct diet and lifestyle plus chelation, the chelation process is unbinding it, and now it's in your blood again, and the liver filtered it out of your blood, and then the liver dumps it in your gallbladder, and the gallbladder dumps it in your digestive tract, and hopefully by tomorrow morning you expel it and it's out. So it took me basically 2 years to get the majority of the mercury out of my brain and to regain my cognitive, my mindset. Oh, it's just, I've regained so many lost faculties of my life. So I praise Father for guiding me to these people, and I'm so thankful that I can share my journey with you, because it's a journey. I celebrate life now. I understand the world far better, and my body far better now, and I invite you to read my book. And if you are injured, go to Johan's Recovery Protocol at the back of the book at the treatment protocol section, and it will help you to regain your health. So thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you like this message, and you know what, look after yourself. God bless, and live in wisdom. And till the next video, talk again. Thank you, and bye bye.